The difference between commercial recreation and the commercialized public recreation is that commercial recreation mainly operates as a general recreation facility that runs as a business. These businesses are open to general public and come with a fee. And some examples of this would be theme parks, attractions, and clubs. And an example of that would be like Walt Disney World. Well, commercialized for public recreations, on the other hand, is related specifically to like the products or services of a government and or a government nonprofit organization in a more like commercialized manner, with much of all the costs covered by fees and charges and other non-tax revenue. This would include city parks and recreation programs that are generally self-supporting, and like an example of this would be like dance lessons in the park that are like covered by like participant fees, paying for like the instructor and like the sound equipment and that kind of stuff. Next question is if the stock market is performing well and unemployment rates are low, 3 things that would be influenced by this would be like inflation, foreign exchange, and discretionary income. These things are important to the field of travel and tourism and recreation for a variety of reasons. If discretionary income is higher due to there being more work and cash flow, consumers will be more likely to spend money on leisure and the recreational activities over normal necessities. Along with an increase in discretionary income, inflation would go up, which would allow businesses and restaurants and ticket prices in the recreation and leisure industry to increase their prices charged for their goods and services to maximize financial returns. Lastly, I think that the foreign exchange would also be largely impacted by the stock market, and low employment rates, because it would strengthen the value of the US dollar. This would increase the probability for Americans to travel abroad and spend their money other places recreationally, where they might have otherwise stayed in the country. For the next question, number 3, my response would be that key differences between a destination resort and an intermediate access resort is that a destination resort is the type of place that has absolutely everything. It's considered to be the most robust, and it even has at least like 4 signature or anchor amenities. There can be over 15 secondary experiences, which would pull so many guests to that location. An example of that might be the Wyndhurst Resort Club, where it's kind of like an all-inclusive type deal, and so many people are attracted to that, and they don't have to worry about like even leaving the resort. All they have to do is show up and everything's available for them. And that's a little bit different from the other resort, which is an intermediate access resort. And that resort is it's a little bit different from like intermediate or specialized, which is the other 2 categories, because like it would be similar to the intermediate, but it instead of it just having recreational experiences with at least 2 signature or anchor amenities and over 10 secondary experiences, it additionally has direct access to external recreation or leisure experiences. And that's like something that resort specializes in. It would, like an example of that would be the New York City Marriott that was mentioned in class, where guests are able to go to that resort, and within that facility they could buy tickets for shows or events and important or really cool like opportunities just from even within the hotel, and that could provide them with deals and like an easy like access where they don't have like consumers don't and guests don't have to stress out about trying to compare other ways of acquiring these tickets. It's easy and accessible for them. Lastly, for the fourth question, for the host providers and the host government and the host communities, they all work together on so many different fronts within the recreation, travel, and leisure to support the industry. They all kind of intermingle within each other to support how this industry works. Without one of them working with the others, the whole industry could fail. So this is really key for understanding how this is all supported within each other. The host government is really important in ensuring that the economic health of the host community, tax revenue, planning, policy making, development, all of those things are like kind of grouped under the host government. And the host and providers, they all have to work together and ensure that things go smoothly, and they need to plan to work with one another well ahead of time with the government, and they need to establish a good relationship and ensure that there's communication throughout either like starting it all up and planning that everything is following policy and good health for all the consumers, and just ensuring that like all the rules and regulations are up to date. And meanwhile, the host community is mostly impacted by the consumers and tourists through the natural environment. And whether that be through the physiography or the climate or just all the people as a whole. So that other half, in addition to the natural environment, the other half of the host community is the built environment. And this half is kind of, well, the natural could have include the mountains, the more natural looking things. The built environment is all built by humans. The built environment is heavily impacted by culture, and its main infrastructure is to serve tourism. So lastly, the key factor in the built environment in the host community is the way that technology and information is spread. The quality and the quantity of this can have a massive impact on how the tourist can find and interact with and utilize the towns. Communication via the internet, if there's a special app for that location, if there's maps available to so that tourists can access all of those things. It's just very important, and all of them can work together within each other.